Welcome to abombtozzzax. With me, Colin Holt. And my friends, Dan Snellgrove and Jamie Firth. Here they come!
Hello, dear listeners. Welcome back to episode 3 of abombtozzzax, my favorite Marvel character, which we might have changed to my best Marvel character. My best Marvel character? I like that. That doesn't make a lot of sense, and I like it a lot. I'm Colin Holt, the creator of this podcast, the originator, because I am a middle-aged man with a family. I have a wonderful life, but I have a gap, which is talking about comics. I've been into comics my whole life. I kind of hate them. I won't lie. They make me feel sick because I'm addicted. I'm an addict. I love them and I hate them. But anyway, I want to, like a disease, I want to pass this on to my friends who are sort of vaguely interested. But what they are interested in is the £1 million we're going to make from this podcast when it takes off. So my take that I decided on is to go through every single Marvel character on the Marvel Unlimited app, starting from A, going all the way to Z. We've done 2, A-Bomb and Zzzax. This week, it's the turn of Abomination. And the stories we read, or some of us sort of read, are Tales to Astonish, 90 to 91, just the B story. You don't have to read the whole thing. Don't be crazy. That's from the 60s, and I think by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, probably. And that'll all be in the notes. Incredible Hulk, 384, one of my favorite comics of all time, written by Peter David, art by Dale McKeown. And finally, Gamma Flight, written by, I think, Al Ewing or Jerry Duggan, one of them. It's a modern one. Gamma Flight, you can read all of it. It's a 5-part limited series, or the ones the Abomination appears in are 2, 4, and 5. Confession, I only read number 5. So here's Jamie and Dan. Jamie, you read all of the comics because you're a good...
I did. Lots of points for me this week, yes.
Now, Dan, you are a very naughty boy.
Oh, no.
And despite, having a lot of leisure time, from where I see it, as one of those evil landlords that ruining this country, you didn't quite manage to read them all. But that's fine. That's absolutely fine, because Dan is our resident boffin. He's a science expert. He's a card-carrying member of Advanced Idea Mechanics. And Jamie is a director, our director in residence, who worked a lot with Nick Fury on perfecting his gruff voice in an imaginary combination of reality and fantasy that I'm starting to create. That's making me very happy. At the end of the episode, we're going to rate who's the best character. A-Bomb was winning. He immediately got knocked off by the shadowy organization AIM. Will Abomination beat them? Who knows? It's like sport. Like people who like sport. It's like that. A bit like football. Like football with like goals and stuff. It's like that, but for dreadful nerds. Okay, so let's jump in. Dan, you did read the first 2. What did you understand about Abomination from them, and what did you think of those stories? Did you like them? Were they fun? Give me anything you've got. Anything.
I've got some stuff. I have got stuff.
Let's hear those thoughts.
Not as much as others.
Brilliant brain.
It's buzzing. Okay, so like 2 casts ago, we spoke a lot about Hulk.
He's featured heavily throughout, hasn't he, so far?
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, sorry, carry on.
And here he is again. Now, it was... the first thing is that there's some guy called the Stranger who turns up and messes with Hulk's brain and sends him on a rampage mission.
Yeah.
And then Banner himself realizes, I've got to stop this by, well, ending the Hulk and ending himself.
Oh wow, yeah, he actually. God, I forgot about this bit. I didn't read these ones because I've got a book called Bring on the Bad Guys, which I bought as a kid and now my kids read. So I feel like I've read this fairly recently, but I forgot about that bit. How does he try to kill himself?
Well, this is it. It's all pretty. It goes there straight away. He's going to kill himself, and he's going to do it by, well, the good old gamma. He's going to chuck himself back in his gamma machine.
Right.
And I don't know a lot about this, but there's a gamma machine that he goes to. Cranks it up.
Yeah.
And is about to zap himself when, this spy comes in.
Yeah.
And then the military police come in, drag him off. And then the spy man gets in there, zaps himself on purpose with this.
Emil Blonsky, to use his alter ego. He's a real. Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
And then because he's got extra boosted gamma rays that was going to kill Banner, it super boosts him even stronger than the Hulk.
Yeah. So he becomes the Abomination. How does he call himself Abomination?
No, there's a woman who says, "Who is that Abomination?" I think it might be Betty. Maybe Betty.
Oh, okay, Betty. Yeah, Betty Ross.
And then
Anna's girlfriend.
Someone turns and says, "That's a really good name for it."
I love it how they get their names. Me and the kids were watching the original Spider-Man movies, as in the Tobey Maguire ones, and I love how they do that because a lot of that is Jameson going, "We'll call him the Green Goblin," J. Jonah Jameson, and that's a good way of doing it, I think. But it's often that sort of like someone goes, "You're a abomination," and then, "You call me Abomination, then I will be an abomination." They always say something like that. No, I'm not. I don't want you to call me. That's not my name. That's not. I want to be Power Man. Sorry, dude. You're the Abomination. And the thing about him also, he looks hideous, is the idea. In the way the Hulk looks like a big green man, but he's a big green man, but with kind of aquatic, lizardy stuff.
He's got a very Shape of Water thing going on. He's like the sort of
water.
Yeah, the film with the sort of, I thought Swamp Thing, but it's not quite that. I had to look it up because I couldn't remember quite what Swamp Thing looks like. But yeah, it's definitely like a sort of a merman-y sort of big ears and gills type situation.
Flappy wing. Did anyone see the Incredible Hulk movie, which was really bad with Edward Norton?
Yeah.
Is bad. That's got the Abomination in it, but he sort of just looks like a sort of melting man. It's not good. They don't do the flappy ears, and I miss them. Now he's in the MCU, and they've put the flappy ears in, which is good, which is lovely. But yeah, I think right from the beginning, an element of sympathy for Abomination. Do we feel?
Not so much in that first comment, not so much in the Tales to Astonish, but because they build him up very quickly in that. Like they're very quick to say he's like super powerful, and we don't seem to be able to find any weakness about him. I think it's Ross that describes him. He says that he's the greatest living threat ever to menace the nation or the world. That's big building. Like from a standing start, he's become a bit of a enemy number one.
Yeah, that's quite jumping quickly to it, isn't it? It's just like, well, you don't know yet, mate. How do they know? Has he done anything at that point?
Not much.
I'm reading for a bit of spoiler for you guys, because I know you're learning about the Marvel Universe through this, and I don't want to throw in too many jumps forward, but me and my kids are reading the Fantastic Four, which is a lot of fun, which is the first Marvel comic, basically, the first of this era. And every villain they fight, Reed Richards, who's Mr. Fantastic, he always describes as, if they get hold of that, they'll be the most deadly creature on earth. They'll just, nothing will be able to stop them. And my daughter pointed out that he says that about anyone. So he says it about Doctor Doom, who, to be fair, is a super genius with all this sort of advanced weaponry, or Galactus, who is a planet-eating terror. But he also says about a mole man, who's literally a very short-sighted man who lives underground with a staff. And he literally says, "This menace must be stopped," or, well, although humanity itself is in peril, you know.
I like the idea that it's like there's an item that if he gets hold of it, then he could be all powerful. I'm wondering what the item would be for the
I mean, in
Mole
that
Man.
case, it wasn't even the item. I mean, to be fair, he has like a I'm saying too much about Mole Man, but he has subterranean followers and monsters and things. But it's still, it's like, is he that? Is he though, Reed? Is he really? Me and my kids have a lot of fun with the Fantastic Four, but I can't wait to get you guys on the FF. That's going to be a good day. Anyway, so Abomination, strong. But is he interesting for that? Is he just a Hulk who's a bit stronger and a bit uglier?
Well, you know, this is going to press a button here, Colin. We've had a conversation about Hulk and his strength.
Yeah, okay.
In the past with regards to the Hulk Buster, but I mean, we perhaps
have we
that's for
talked
another
about that?
time.
Yes, on this podcast. Maybe we should throw it in here. This is
All
Dan's real problem. This is sort of why Dan stopped watching the Marvel movies.
It is. I didn't like the Hulk Buster, if that's what it's called.
Yeah, which is an Iron Man armor. In that case, it's an Iron Man armor that's used to fight the Hulk. Why didn't you like it, Dan?
Well, and basically go toe to toe to him with his core ability, which is strength, and duff him up. Pretty much, and then at the very end, bop him on the head. And I felt when you have a character that you've said is pure strength and rage, that is their thing. You should be very careful about equaling that, because then you're devaluing what that thing is. Like, I think the Hulk is great if he's like diverted, when his strength is like overcome with intelligence or cunning or things like that. I really like that. But when it's just his only thing, which is strength, then you've got to do that very carefully. So here comes Abomination, stronger than the Hulk. Okay, that should be a moment where we all go, oh my God, that should be massive, you know.
Rosted. He'll destroy the bloody world. If he's stronger than the Hulk, all of humanity. I imagine he'd have that voice. To be honest, I think that was basically my Nick Fury voice as well, but you know, and my J. Jonah Jameson voice. Okay, fair enough. But I don't know, but like, someone's got to be able to beat the Hulk, otherwise there's no story at all. But you think so? It's like the Lex Luthor Superman thing, is what you're talking about.
Well,
whereas just Superman fighting another Superman, as in Nuclear Man from Superman 4, it's famously very bad. Okay. I think you're right. I mean, you won't like The Incredible Hulk for that reason in the movie, in that it is just two CGI big men that look quite fake, pretending to hit each other. I mean, that's like wrestling, isn't it? Essentially, it's wrestling. It's very wrestling. I saw the Iron Claw the other day. That was very upsetting, but fun. Have you seen the Iron Claw? Zac Efron plays this like 1980s wrestler, a real guy. But the first shot, well, it starts in the past and then it goes to the present. And the first shot in the present is him waking up and getting out of bed. But he's got that body of a sort of Lou Ferrigno Hulk. Was it Lou Ferrigno who played the Hulk in the 80s? And he's got the hair. Lou Ferrigno, is it? He's got the haircut. Oh, yeah, Ferrigno from Star Trek. He's got the haircut and he's like tanned. And in his like tighty whities, he's just got little. And it's so funny. I mean, what happens is then it becomes increasingly tragic, but it's like really funny for ages because you're just seeing how difficult it would just be to like get out of bed and have some cereal. And do you know what I mean? Like when your body's like that, when you're like this muscle bound sort of creature. Anyway, I highly recommend watching The Iron Claw. Okay, cool. So let's jump ahead. So we're not impressed by the Abomination particularly, Dan, you're saying.
Well, all I'm saying is if you're going to do it, you know, be very careful and do it well. And so they've got him. I mean, I was slightly disappointed that he was made in exactly the same way and he did it intentionally. Like, I really like the Hulk being an accident, zapped, and like, we can't possibly recreate this. It's just a freak thing that's happened with gamma rays. And then some dude comes in and goes, oh, I zapped myself with gamma rays. Oh, I'm the Hulk and I've got intelligence and I've got gill ears or whatever. I'm concerned.
Well, then I guess you get to that point, which they do in future comics, in more modern comics, where it's like, why doesn't the army just turn everyone into the Hulk, for example?
Yeah.
It's got to be how does he beat him in the end? Because I can't remember.
I haven't read all of it. This is where I have to step back.
Jamie, did you get to the end?
Vulcan neck pinch, I believe. Another mark. No, I don't. I can't remember. I did get to the end. Yeah, I think when Ross calls him the greatest, when he calls him the greatest living threat ever, it's because he's knocked Hulk out, and I guess no one's ever seen that done before.
Right.
So he's like, well, I suppose this guy's gone right to the top of the pile.
Yeah.
I do want to get to an Incredible Hulk 384 though, because
yes, I really do.
I think.
So far, character-wise, I think it's safe to say Abomination, bit of a nothingy character, just an evil Hulk, really. But he is little tidbit that I've always found interesting, is he's from Yugoslavia. I don't know why. He's part of the Soviet Union. I think at that time, Yugoslavia was part of the Soviet Union. I just remember from my fact files, and like I've got a lot of cards from the 90s of like Marvel characters, and I'm pretty sure it says he's Yugoslavian. And I don't know why. But anyway, he is apparently. I don't think anyone did any real research on Yugoslavia or anything in order to, I mean, does he exist anymore, of course. Anyway, and I'd love to know what he feels about all that. I don't know if they've ever explored it. But not much of a character, bit of a, just a copy of Hulk, I think it's safe to say. However, then we get Dan, and I want you to read this afterwards, Dan, because I think you will. I genuinely think you'll enjoy this. We get to one of my milestone comic for me as a kid, as a 12-year-old in Canada, when I first got into comics, staying with my cousin Sean. It's The Incredible Hulk, issue 384. Jamie, do you want to talk a little bit about this?
I mean, you start with the cover, which explains to you that now, and I don't know what the background is to this, but it explains to you that Abomination is over 6 feet tall, and Hulk at this point is under 6 inches. Mm-hmm. And then it says, "Boy, is the Abomination in for an earful," which I thought was delightful.
What's the Hulk saying to him?
Well, so the Hulk is saying,
and another thing.
Yeah, wait till I get you home.
The Abomination. So Dan, in that sense, we're changing the power levels, and he's got to use different ways other than just punching him to win for a start. Dan looks very confused. What could all this mean? What the hell is going on here? Jamie, do you want?
Hulk is 6 inches tall.
Yeah. I'll surmise the story for you, because I found this really interesting, because it's not a fighty comic. It's not a battle. The story for this is that Abomination has kidnapped Nadia Blonsky, which is Abomination, or what is Abomination, who is Abomination now, his ex-wife, we discover. Mm-hmm. And he's kidnapped her, and the Hulk is tiny for some reason. I don't know if do you know, Colin? Do you know the background on that one?
So, okay, very quickly, there's the film Infinity War you might have heard of. Have you seen that one, Dan?
I don't think so.
You've heard of Thanos, big baddie.
Thanos, yeah.
There's a taste of this. So when this comic came out, it was during a big company-wide crossover called the Infinity Gauntlet, which is where Thanos, basically all the heroes in the world are fighting him at once. And they've all had this big cosmic battle. And somehow, I can't remember how, but Thanos he can do anything in Cosmic Cube style. And he's turned the Hulk 6 inches tall and sent him back to Earth. I don't know why. I mean, it's for a plot, I guess. But I love that the writer, Peter David, who is quite a beloved, funny, quite sitcom-y, he has his faults for sure, but he always puts a lot of humor, a lot of warmth, a lot of humanity into his stories. Anyway, carry on, Jamie. So he's been sent back to Earth.
So the Hulk has been shrunken, but is still as strong. So he's still got like a lot of strength. Yeah. But basically, Abomination has taken his wife into the sewers, as you would, and it's a very sort of Beauty and the Beast, Phantom of the Opera dynamic, where he's basically he can't tell her who he actually is, but he just wants to spend some time with her. And then 6-inch Hulk is basically the little angel on his shoulder, like literally, whispering into his ear, pretending to be, I think it says the Lord, which I assume.
It's a wonderful story.
He's sort of pretending to be God, basically, and whispering to Abomination and saying, "You must let her go. You can't do this." And Abomination is just this kind of quite sad character that is a sort of ogre of what he used to be and can't admit to her that what he's turned into.
He's also, I can't remember why, but his face is kind of got worse. He's sort of melting. So he's not just a sort of lizardy man. There's no shape of water going on anymore. He's sort of become more like a zombie lizard man or something. You can literally see like the gaps between his cheeks and stuff like that. So he's truly hideous. And there's so much good stuff in this, isn't there? I thought it's wonderful. And he also convinces him the Lord by doing a sonic boom in his ear. So he's like, listen to me, Emil. It's Emil, isn't it? Listen to me, Emil. Yeah. Claps his hands to Abomination, like, what have you? So he's like pretending he's the Lord, striking him down. And he's like, please, why can't she love me? And he's like, because he's got a line which I thought was really nice. He says, what is it? He says,
Is this my director's line that I want you to do?
Okay, go on then. Let's hear that.
Could be. It was, once I was a man as other men. Then I changed and couldn't see you anymore.
Couldn't see what? Who?
Couldn't see you anymore.
Oh, yeah.
His wife.
That's beautiful. That's not the line. The actual line is, Hulk says to him, there is a much greater, he said, Abomination says there's a chance if I tell her who I am, she'll love me again or something. And he says, a chance, yes, she may run into your arms. Sometimes fairy tales do come true, but there's a much greater chance she'll be repulsed by you, horrified. And then he says, what does he say? That's not... And then Abomination says, blah, 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 she loved me once. I'm still the man I was. If she loved that man, why can't she love this one? He said, because as much as humans would like to believe otherwise, love incorporates more than just spirit. Humans consider the outward appearance to be an accurate reflection of the inner soul. Love isn't really blind, just selectively nearsighted. I thought that was a really nice line. I didn't read it very well, sorry. But there's a lot going on there, isn't there?
It comes as very little consolation if you've got big fish ears, I imagine.
Yeah. So a couple of things I just want to point out. One is Abomination now lives in this kind of like homeless city under the sewers, essentially, with other homeless people. And he's like, and the Hulk goes, of course, he'd have nowhere else to go. So there's this lovely moment where he's looking at him and sort of seeing his arch nemesis, his villain, and feeling sympathy for him and feeling like, where else could he go? What else could he do? And then there's this really nice one panel where he's talking to Nadia and she's saying, love, for you, you're insane. You're horrid, ugly monstrosity with sick, perverted dreams. And you want to torture me and drive me as insane as you are. And then it just has this shot of all these sort of homeless guys living in the sewers with him, all just staring, just like a sort of Greek chorus, just looking on. And you can't quite see their faces. They all just look kind of sad and abandoned, but they're just watching this whole drama unfold. This is what, when I say like comics can be really good, this is, I mean, it's maybe a bit melodrama, a bit on the nose, a bit cheesy, but but then what has always stuck with me, right? And I think I've put this in a show or a version of this. I haven't done a show of The Incredible Hulk, but that would be quite funny, wouldn't it? If I put on like a play of like a serious play of The Incredible Hulk. But at the end, when he says all this stuff, and it ends where Abomination is looking through a window at Nadia, who he's gone with the Hulk, what the Hulk said, who he still thinks is God, taken her home, put her in an apartment. Oh, that's one thing. She does just run away and run into a wall, which is quite helpful plot-wise, and just knocks herself out. It's like, shit, how do we get her back to the apartment? Oh, she just ran into a wall. So she just knocks herself out. Abomination carries her back to her apartment while she's knocked out and then leaves. And she's like, oh, was it all a dream? And he's watching from out the window. And he says, you have no idea what it's like to be a monster, transformed, rejected by the woman you love. And Hulk says, oh, I know too well. And then he says, goodbye, Emil. And then Emil goes, goodbye, Hulk.
Yeah, that's good.
Brilliant. So good.
He
so
knew the whole
good.
time.
But like, when did he know? Was he like from the beginning? I don't know. It's just a lovely moment. And literally, I reread it just before we went on this. And I was like, is it still going to give me the punch that it did when I was 12? And it did. I sort of blubbed. I went, ooh. Ooh. I cried for an hour.
There's also a lovely moment where his wife says, "Oh, is there something familiar about your voice?" And he says, "Oh, maybe I was just another adoring another voice in the crowd." It's like I'm not gonna admit.
Oh
it
yeah,
was
from a
where you know my voice
a darkened theatre.
Yes.
So she's an actress, and he sort of says to her, I used to watch you. I've always been a fan of you as an actress. Where do I know you from? Oh, just another. It's all very melodramatic. Just another thing. Just another audience member watching on from a darkened theatre, whatever. I don't know. No, it wouldn't be a cinema, would it? Because you wouldn't be able to hear him through. That's not how movies work, is it?
No.
Can the actors hear us? Because I talk a lot to them. Well, anyway, Dan, are you convinced by what you've heard? You're looking unsure. I think we've got another Hulkbuster coming that we're not. That's going to wrong foot us here, Jamie.
Now, given the emotional connection you have with this, I'm going to try.
No, please, no.
No, stomp on it like the
God, mate. I want you to give it 100%.
All right, okay. It sounds beautiful and so well written. It sounds wonderful. My only question is this a story that needs to have Abomination, Hulk, and whoever is in it, or is this another? Are they kind of transplanted onto this already beautiful story? Do you know what I mean? Do we need to have a 6-inch Hulk that suddenly has gained intelligence and poetry? Do you know what I mean? Like, it seems like these characters are being stretched to be put into this.
I think they call it plot armor, don't they? Where they've literally just changed. Oh, we'll make him 6 inches. So, because obviously Peter David wants to do that. He's had this idea of a Phantom of the Opera and Hulk is talking to him. I mean, I guess he could have made him invisible. But it's funny as well that he's tiny and Abomination's massive. There's loads of jokes in it and stuff.
Do you have to think about it as like not canon in a way? Do you have to put it in a box and say it's like a sort of dream or something?
Yeah, I haven't read after. I don't know whether it continues this Abomination sadness. I mean, by the time we get to Gamma Flight, which we haven't got time to talk about, but it's just Abomination just being a baddie, really, isn't it? Again, I don't think it's even Emil, is it? Is it a different Abomination by that point? I think it might be. I got to be honest, I read the last episode and I thought it was really just nothing.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
We don't need to talk about it all. It had some fun characters who I love, like Absorbing Man. Big fan of Absorbing Man. He's coming up. Dan, I got to say, if you're in the MCU, you'd be a very good Absorbing Man.
Really?
You really would. I think that's
a good thing?
Oh, Crusher Creel. I think that could be your part. So we don't need to talk about Gamma Flight, Jamie, do we?
The only thing we need to know about Gamma Flight is if anyone can explain to me the ending where Abomination is basically all powerful and they're saying if we can hit him with this laser, and then they basically wing him in the arm and he just sort of leaves. He doesn't die or get knocked out. He sort of holds his arm and goes, ow, and then disappears. So if someone can explain what was going on there, some sort of special laser, I guess. I don't know.
That's like someone getting in a big fight and then just getting a tiny, like their ear being pinched and going, oh, that's...
No, you cheated. I'm going
going
home.
too far. We were just playing. Yeah. Gamma Flight is it's like a group of all the people who are a bit like Hulk. Again, we saw it with A-Bomb, but it's people who are kind of a bit gamma-y. Let's form a super team, but not Hulk. So it's just bad. Anyway. Great. Well, I see your point, Dan. Do you have any thoughts on that? I mean, you could just say, why do any of this? And I think that's a very valid question for the podcast and Marvel Comics and all comics. But ultimately, you've got to have a story and you might as well. I mean, if every story was just, here's the Hulk, here's the Abomination, and they have a fight.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's just.
I mean, Midsummer Night's Dream is a sort of comedic love story mix up, and you could go, yeah, but why do there have to be fairies in it?
Well, but I think it's when you've got this.
I'm getting really defensive.
No, I love it. And I'll tell you something I do love. I love the idea of the Abomination, him like collapsing. Like you said, he's sort of like his face is all collapsing. Like there can be something which is stronger than the Hulk. However, it can't last or something. It's corrupting in on itself. I like that idea. That's
I think
really
the Gamma is eating him up or something.
Yeah, I think that's a good weakness, a good balance to it.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think I'm going to bother doing this podcast anymore.
We'll do a Midsummer Night's Dream one instead.
Yeah. Oh God, I could talk about that forever. I was in Midsummer Night's Dream once, and it was wonderful. I was wonderful, but that was a moment when comedy really worked for me. Because everyone slags off Shakespeare comedies that they're not actually funny and all that. But I was in this scene, and we'd been working on it for fucking ages at drama school. And we spent you might have to bleep that out, Daniel. I'd like to bleep out any swears because I think it'd be good if kids could hear this, wouldn't it? I mean, I don't know if they should, but I don't know if anyone should listen to this. But anyway, there was a moment where we did that whole, where the lovers are in love with the wrong person and they've been given the potion. And you just suddenly realize, I was going to say two guys are after one girl, but that sounds awful when you say it like that. But what I mean is you just get a moment where they suddenly realize how mad everything is. And I remember just bursting out laughing in rehearsals. And you go, this is so good. I realized I just told the dweebiest story of my life there. I'm so sorry. Unnecessarily. I love this podcast so much. Right. So first of all, Jamie, do you want to give us that line? We're going to have to stop in a sec. But Jamie, what was that line?
I think I would just like a very melodramatic, once I was a man as other man, then I changed.
And action.
Once I was a man as any other man, but then I changed.
Very, very Shakespeare-y.
Very good, yes.
And action.
Once I was a man like other men, but then I changed.
Which I think, if anyone could sound like a fat northern guy, it's Bob.
Yeah. I like the way you've sort of worked
Tell
in
you,
the
I love you.
melting face.
Is it my face,
Melting
babe?
face.
Well, that's what I went for first. Is it my face? Why don't you love me anymore, love? What am I doing wrong? I'm the same bloke. I just put on a bit of weight. So what? Look, I can lift up a car. Darren can't do that.
Lovely Nadia. I hope I was going to say I hope Nadia isn't a character on the list, but not because I'm against Nadia Blonsky, but just because, I mean, fuck, if we're doing Nadia Blonsky, then we are going to be here till we die, aren't we?
Well, I did have a look into the future, and actually, at some point, Nadia Blonsky becomes Abomination. So
really? Is that true?
Apparently so. So
okay,
maybe
that's exciting. Right. Okay. So we need to do scores because I've got to go. Abomination. Here we go. Okay. Can he knock that top spot from AIM? Is that what sports people say? Okay. So likability.
see, it's like 2 in the other comics, and then like 10 in the middle one.
So we go for 7.
Seems like a reasonable way of doing things.
Yeah. Okay. It's hard this because Dan hasn't read, but I think you got the idea enough, didn't you? Definitely. Originality, very low.
Yeah.
Like A-Bomb. I mean, A-Bomb got 0 because he's not even just a version of the Hulk. He's a version of Abomination.
Yeah.
He's a copy of a copy. Right. Okay. So 2. I'm going to go 2. Coolness. I'm not sure these are good categories.
No. He's not that cool, I don't think.
I don't think he's done
He's
anything
not
that's
cool.
cool.
No.
Nothing cool. Okay. 0.
Yep, 0.
Yeah.
He's really uncool.
I think he's cool.
He is really uncool. He's a bit cooler in Gamma Flight, maybe. But yeah, okay.
If he loses it for getting winged at the end and just leaving.
Yeah, very uncool. Absolute bloody wimp.
Not cool, dude.
Bloody wimp.
Not cool.
You shot me in the arm. We were playing a game, right? I thought we were just playing.
It's gone Newcastle now.
We were playing a game. We're having a laugh, mucking about, and you have to take it too far every time. I'm going, and I've had enough of this. I'm going to see Nadia.
Realism. How realistic is the Hulk? I mean, the Abomination.
is he as realistic as the Hulk?
I
mean,
guess so. I mean, the one thing to point out with the Abomination is he doesn't change back. He never changes back.
Right.
No one cares. No one cares. Literally no one cares. Okay. All right. We're going to put 1. A-bomb was 1. So we're going to put 2. Just so.
Yes.
Okay.
Longevity. I would have said not much because it's just the Hulk. But then after, Peter David showed us there's a lot you could give these characters. You could take them in all sorts of journeys. If you dare to read.
In that first comic we read, he was the greatest living threat ever. And by the last comic, it was like, he's sort of a Phantom of the Opera, Quasimodo sort of dude. It's not really longevity.
Just kick him in the toe and he'll give up. Seriously. Just flick his ear and he's had enough.
Oh, mate, right. We're all here, we're all having a laugh, we're all mucking about, and someone, I won't say who,
I really like this character.
flicks me big ear. You know my ears are big, you know I'm sensitive about them. You know I'm not happy about them, and then this guy flicks them. I'm leaving.
Right, okay, longevity, 4.
Yeah.
Adorability, you know what I'm going to say? He's not as adorable as he's not cuddly as A-bomb by any means. A-bomb looks like a big Pokemon.
A-bomb doesn't have
just a mess.
A-bomb doesn't have 384, does he? This
uranium. Oh, right. Okay.
Uranium 2, 3.
No, he doesn't. But does that make him adorable? I think it makes him sad and sympathetic. But I don't know.
Right.
I mean, these categories.
I mean, his ex-wife can't even adore him. Despite the fact she thinks she recognises his
1.
voice.
I'm going to put him at 1.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so that puts Abomination. I think I'm not even going to be bothered to count it, but he's number 2. He's number 2. He did not beat the shadowy organization of beekeeper scientists AIM because they're just gorgeous and they give a shit, I think. Well, they only got adorability of 2. Is it adorability or gorgeousness? I think it's adorability. I mean, so far we've had a group of sweaty scientists and 2 sort of lizard men. So I'm hoping next time. Oh, who's next? Next week we meet the Absorbing Man.
Me?
Dan.
I hope he's adorable.
This could be your big break. He's pretty adorable. I need to work. That's not going to be easy for me. Do we make it 1 comic? Jamie managed to get them all. We've got 2 weeks this time.
Given it's me, I'm going to read all these now.
Okay.
I'm preparing for the film.
The Absorbing Man. Okay, well, I'll give you the origin. I'm going to give you, so with the Absorbing Man, little hint, we're going to go to the first major crossover, Secret Wars. Ooh, which is where the Absorbing Man really comes into his own. Yeah, exciting times. He can absorb stuff. Can he absorb ideas? Culture. He absorbs cultural sort of touchdowns. That's not what he is.
He's not the appropriating man, is he?
Appropriating man. In my book, the worst bloody villain of all. Sorry, guys. Sorry if that's too woke for everyone, but, the Absorbing Man. He absorbs things. And any thoughts, any initial thoughts? Nothing from Jamie. Dan?
Does he absorb energy? Does he absorb the cold, absorb heat, and uses it for his own advantage?
You're going to find out. No spoilers here, but yeah, basically that.
Oh, right, okay.
It's a little bit more than that. A little bit more than that. But let's just say, in my book, he's absolutely adorable. But another villain. Still haven't got to a single hero. Heroes don't have names that begin with A, it turns out. A is a baddie name, isn't it? Because it's like, I'm coming for you. Right, lovely. Thank you, boys. See you next week, everyone. Keep listening. And if you want to help us, go to patreon.com/Colin Holt and give me some money, and I might give some to these boys. We're going and let me just check. We are, what's the word? Our funding target is £1 million. So let's see how we get on. Fingers crossed. I really think this is a good one. Okay, bye, everyone. Say bye, boys.
Bye.
Bye.